Welcome to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamilo Luka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In Super Soul Sisters, we make sure that we talk about those issues that ladies discuss and also maybe telling you about our life journeys, what struggles women go through to make it in life, where they have come from, so that you can relate with what the daily woman go through in life. But before we delve into the show, I would like to remind you that we have a pageant coming on 26th to 28th of this month. We are looking out for students who are coming in for holidays to share with us their stories. Whatever story you have, please come to the National Theatre for auditions on 26th to 28th of August and be the winner. Make sure that you come with a beautiful story which is truthful so that you get a chance to win a bursary for your education. That is the gift we can give you as Super Soul Sisters as we start the first season of the beauty pageant. Come and meet with other sisters. I would also like to give credit to Footsteps for giving us such a beautiful place to air our shows, and also requesting you kindly to come to the showroom and pick what you want for your home. When I tell you that Footsteps has all what you need in your house, I mean it. You will take a look, come just even to window shop, and then you see. You might be surprised and you'll take something home. The place is located opposite Bank of Africa along Ginger Road. It has enough ample parking that you can park your car, and also they do deliveries. Once you pick the item, they will make sure that they deliver to your home and fix it to your comfort. Super Soul Sisters runs every Wednesday at around 9 p.m. I repeat on Friday, 11 a.m. And for all our Super Soul shows, you can catch us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sister. But remember that when you go to Super Soul Sisters, you subscribe so that you'll be getting updates of every show that we put up on our YouTube channel. With that information, I'd like to welcome Fazirah. Fazirah has a very beautiful story that I believe that you should just sit down, relax, get a cup of coffee, and sit on your set there, watch UBC TV, and you'll get to inspired by the end of this show. You're most welcome, Fazirah. Should I say assalamu alaikum?
Any can do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome to Super Soul Sisters.
Thank you for the invitation.
How is Fazirah? You look smart.
Oh, thank you
and
so
happy
much.
birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so
we like
much
it when we bring a Super Soul Sister and it's her birthday. It's such a blessing to us.
I know. For so long we've been trying to catch up for me to come here, but I've been up and down, and I don't know, just like that today, I'm really going to go to Jamila.
It's really nice to have you. I'm
my
so
birthday
happy
as well.
to
Yes.
have you. Now, Fazirah, I want you to tell us. You look lovely. Tell us where were you born? Which schools did you go to? Did you go to nursery, or you are like me who went to, the schools where you have to go and with your sticks to count 1, 2, 3 up to 10 with a bundle?
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you so much for the invitation. My name is Nassolo Fazirah. I'm a mother of 3 lovely daughters. And yes, I went to school. I went to back then was one of the most expensive nursery schools. That was Christ the King.
Wow.
That's where my mom used to take me. And one thing I remember about that school is she used to pick me up from school every day. By that time, funds were not there. So that is one of the times I got the biggest bond with my mom, her taking me to school every day, and she had to pick me up every day.
And when they are picking you, they have to buy for your lollipop.
Actually, when they were picking us, they used to pick us from school at exactly midday. And if a parent is even late by 10 minutes, we had a cafeteria. You would find when they've taken us to the cafeteria to have chips and chicken or sausage or anything, and the parent had to pay.
Wow.
So a parent had to make sure you're on time to pick the baby
and
from
the children would always wish that, let my parent first delay a little bit.
No, actually we were so young that we used not even feel it. And I think because they could even take you to eat the food and you don't feel like taking it.
Oh, no.
You get it, yes. So from there I went to St. Noah Junior School, that is in Sana. And then I went to Hilltop Academy, where I had my senior 4, and then Bogo High School.
Bogo High School.
Yes.
That's a serious school.
Yes, it was a serious school, but they were taking me from that life of being naughty to try and group me into a better lady because, yes, you know, when you grow up with a mother, I was always mommy's daughter, and I was kind of naughty. So everyone told her for us to get an upright lady out of her. Now it's the time to really try and take her to a strict school. So that's why I ended up there.
So you growing up with mom, you must have been a cheeky child. So tell us, how was Fazirah like from home? Like after you pick, the memories that you remember. How was Fazirah like outside school?
My mom was a strict lady, but I don't know. Just out of the blue, I think she loved me so much, a little, so much. Yes, I was naughty, and I grew up with a number of cousins at home. So I was not so much into a housework person, and I spent most of my time in boarding school. So the little time I would come back, she would be like, oh, school stresses. I used to be a very tiny girl. So she would be like, oh, school stresses her, please. Okay, let her rest. Okay, let her do this. She would moderate what I would be doing. So yeah, I grew up being a very naughty and cheeky girl, and most people when they meet me now, they're really surprised that I'm who I am today compared to the person I used to be. I used to be very calm, and actually you could not notice that I was always home. I've always had that thing of me being like an introvert in some way, that even when visitors are home, I'd come, greet, and then go back to the bedroom. I wanted my space.
Wow.
So
that's not nice as a child, because you're supposed to mix up.
Yeah, I understand, but we were never given that opportunity. You know, we grew up with a mom whereby we used not to visit. We didn't have the things of I'm going to visit my cousins, I'm going to the village. Actually, it's surprising. I first went to my mom's village when I was in my Form 5. That's the first time I ever went to the village.
What?
So
for you, you don't know village life?
No, I've not.
Cannot do digging.
I've not even tried it. I wouldn't lie. So I've only gotten to know about village when I've grown up, and that is when once in a while I go and visit my maternal grandfather.
Wow.
But village life is something I've not experienced.
Wow. Yes. This world is so funny. Others really experience too much village life, and when they come to town, it's like something new, and they always want to resonate with the village life.
It is so funny, but I was born in Najanankumbi, and my village was in Machindia. And when I was getting married, and I was building my first home, I went to Munyonyo. So that is how my life has been. It has not gone anywhere out
so
of Kampala.
you are what they call village urban children.
I even don't
so
know.
that because now Najakumbi is your village, isn't it?
Yes.
And Machin
is my village, but I was born in Najanankumbi, actually along Entebbe Road.
Wow. So now you being a mommy's girl, how was it like? You know, when you're mommy's girl and then you go to school, you were were you these good girls, or these girls were spoiled that if you do anything, I will call mommy?
No. My mom, by the way, like I've told you, my mom had the love, but she was very strict. Like when she puts me in school, it is school. And I used to perform so well, and I used to be so quiet, and I used to fear being caned. And my teachers used to say, she's so small, now why are you going to cane her?
Exactly,
so now that helped me a lot. I was down to earth. That is one thing at least I remember about myself. I was down to earth, and I never at any one time wanted to disappoint my mom. I never wanted her to be called at school like, hello, Fuzzy has done this. So I tried my level best.
Are you the only child?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I had 4 siblings. One passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, from my mom's side. So yes, I have siblings.
But are you the only girl?
We're all girls, surprisingly.
Wow. So maybe you are the last born.
I am the firstborn.
Firstborns get pampered.
No, they never get pampered. Remember, firstborns they're always strict on firstborns because the parent is just learning these things. So they never get pampered. Actually,
but somehow parents have attachment to firstborns.
That's what
I have much more attachment to my firstborn than
that's
any
what
other
I would
child.
say.
Yeah.
Like me myself, I have an attachment to all my kids.
But
there is that special bond I have with the firstborn.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that has groomed me into a mother. I've learned
Exactly.
everything like from her.
Try and error.
It's on her, you know. Those nights where you have to run to hospital because she has a temperature that you can't even come from home. So there is that bond that you get as a firstborn child with your mom.
Yeah.
I can't go a day without calling my mom.
Wow.
And when I'm sick, she'll be on my phone all the time. My workmates usually laugh about it. My mom prepares breakfast and sends it to my workplace.
Wow.
Even up to now.
Wow.
So that's the kind of bond I built with my mom.
Mwana wange. We say mwana wange.
Exactly. Mommy's
Wow.
girl. Yeah.
Mommy's girl. That is interesting because sometimes there are girls who are daddy's girls and then others are mommy's girls. Me, I was a daddy's girl.
I didn't get that opportunity to be a daddy's girl.
You said you went to, in your secondary, you went to Mbogo.
Yeah.
That was senior 6.
Yeah, that was senior 6.
Senior 6. Which responsibility did you like hold when you were at high school?
Oh, no, talking about responsibilities, it's, I think, by God's grace that most of the times I'm becoming it. People pick me out to become a leader, but I never want to be a leader most times. My life, I've always want my space, and I have a problem that when I tell someone to do something they don't do it, it kind of really pisses me off. So I love things to be done so fast, and I find hard commanding people as well.
Okay.
I love people that are self-motivated. Once I tell you to do something, do it. I don't want to come back to you the second time asking you to do the
Second
same
time,
thing.
third time, fourth time, then you're like...
You're going to find me doing it, and I being so pissed with you. So I was never a leader when I was growing up because I always kept to myself, and I wasn't a person that is into shouting this, that. No, I was never that kind of person.
So after Mbogo, where did you go to for your university?
After Mbogo, I went ahead and went to ICT. I did a diploma in telecommunication engineering, something my mom was so passionate about, but I was never passionate about it.
You know, the funny thing is we have had so many people in this show who keep saying, my parent wanted this, and I wanted this.
Exactly.
My parent wanted this, and I wish we parents could just listen to our children.
No, I think, you know, with the pressures that our parents have, and as a single mom, she always thought that my daughter has to be this straight. You get it? So she passionately wanted me to be, actually she wanted me to be a doctor. When I reached my Form 5, 6, I told her, Mommy, I'm not doing PCB math. I don't feel it. She's like, okay, what do you want to do? But I need it to be a science course. That's how strict she was. I'm like, no, I can do PEM. I'm very okay with PEM. Then she's like, okay, now that makes you an engineer. I was like, yes. But that time, UTL had double cabins, you know, double cabins. And she's like, I want you to drive that kind of, because that's why I wanted to do engineering. I'm like, okay, Mommy, I'll do it. But along the way, I didn't feel it. I did it up to the very last semester, the last second year, last semester, and I told her, Mommy, I'm not feeling this anymore. I don't even feel I want to work there. I was so much of a tomboy back then. I was in a class of 60 boys, and we were around 5 girls.
Only?
Yes, doing telecom. By that time, doing telecom, you really had to be very good.
Yes.
So I told her, Mommy, I'm not feeling myself doing this. I think, she's like, I need you to do it. I'm like, Mommy, even when I do it, I'm not going to complete it. So we had a very big argument that for the first time in my life, we drifted a little apart because of my career. So she asked me, okay, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think I'm passionate talking to people. And she's like, okay, no, what kind of work is that? And like, I want to do marketing. We took like 2 years because I dropped off, and I'm like, Mommy, I'm not doing it.
In the last semester?
So my second semester, I didn't do it.
And you still had 1 year to go?
I was doing a diploma, had
so
2 years.
So it had 2 years?
Yes, but the very last semester.
But you were left with only 1 semester.
Exactly. Let me tell you one thing, when you're not passionate about something, you're not going to do it. I was a very, very bright person. Very bright. My tutors were proud of me. My mathematics teacher was like, you're the best I can ever have. And I was very proud, and I'm like, yes. But when the time came and I realized, but I'm doing this, but do I even love it? Am I even going to do it? And it was so dominated by the male. That also made me a bit uncomfortable. One, I had grown up with only girls. I hadn't
now
grown
I
up with a father
understand.
figure. There was so much that was not okay with me, the male
Yes.
people. So when I went for my internship, I was surrounded by men, and that's why I lost it, I think. I didn't
Because
have the
now,
courage to
like,
pull through.
it's a world of few ladies and a lot of gentlemen in
Exactly. And back then, we were very, very few ladies. Very few.
it. Even now, they are there, but not
They're very
big
few,
numbers.
yes,
Yeah,
they're very few.
those are jobs that are a bit unique, that are exceptional for exceptional women. You know.
It took a lot of determination. As I told you, we were 5 girls, but by the time of graduation, I think we had only remained 2.
Two.
And I was among the last 2 standing, even when I didn't like it. I was just going to class but
For
not because
just.
I wanted it. Yes, it's not something I was passionate about.
So then, how did you now drift from that to change into marketing? How did you now study marketing?
Okay, I used to have a cousin of mine. He worked with Pepsi back then, and he was doing SCCA. And by that time, these professional courses were not too much. People were not understanding them. But I always used to look up to him. I'm like, I want to, and from the words at me, I always tell people, I love money because I want good life. So he used to earn a lot of money. I was like, no, I want to do a professional course. In between when I stopped the course, my mom was very disappointed, and the good thing is I had connections by the time I was out, and surprisingly I started working.
Without even finishing your diploma?
Yes, because I had tutors that believed in me. I had done internship in different places, and these people believed in me. So I started working, and along the way I met some friend of mine. I was doing a presentation somewhere, and someone noticed me, and then they're like, I think you're a good salesperson. I'm like, I've never done sales. I even don't know what it takes. They're like, no, the way you present yourself and the way you explain, you'll be a very good person. And along the way, someone's like, I have a friend that has a company that does promotional items. I want to introduce you there. That's how I went to Jude Color Solutions. And from the time I was there, I progressed from being just a mere salesperson they brought in, and by the time I left, I was at a managerial level.
And did you go back to school afterwards?
No, during that time I wasn't going back to school. It is entirely something different that inspired me now to go back to school.
Now to do marketing?
Yes, now to do marketing at a professional level. Whatever I was doing was training. You know, when you come into a company and someone realizes your potential. One thing I remember about my boss at Jude, he used to tell me, you're an organic seller. Like, you don't even need to go to school to do these things. You already have a very good background from the schools you went to. You can speak very well and everything. Someone just needs to guide you on what to do. And he was my biggest mentor. And the wife, they mentored me so well that I saw myself grow year in, year out.
Yeah.
For someone that started from down, I started like climbing to the extent that after the board and them, I was someone next to them by the time I left.
Wow.
That is how much they trained me. Yeah.
So then when did you now go and do marketing professionally?
Okay.
Study first, because you were already there professionally.
Yeah, along the way, I got sick. That was in 2021. I always tell people it's so disheartening, but at the peak of my career, at the peak of my sales career, when I could literally walk into any boardroom, when I could meet any CEO I wanted, when I could meet any marketing manager I wanted, I got sick. I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and that shattered me a lot. I was down for like 2 years.
That is 2021 to 2022.
Yeah, to 2022.
Yeah.
I was down. My boss has accepted me to remain working even when I was home. That was something I was grateful for. And when I got better, you know, everyone was like, cancer, you don't get well again.
So first tell me that story. How did you even find out that you had cancer? How did it start?
During that COVID period, I was very okay, by the way. I was doing a healthy diet. You know, I used to look so nice. And for the people that know the Jude uniforms, I used to put on that uniform and I was so proud. You know, when you're doing something you love, you're proud
Exactly.
about it. So I was even dieting back then. But when I had my last baby, I had a lump. There is a day we went out with my friends. So I didn't breastfeed my baby that night. So the next morning, I had like a lump, and my mom was like, "No, that's breast milk because you didn't breastfeed. Let her breastfeed, and then you put little hot water on the boobs for them to calm down." And I did that, and the lump remained, but I didn't mind it. I had never gotten any knowledge about cancer. I had never gotten any. We didn't have any family members that have cancer that I know of. And I remained with this lump like for 2 years without me ever going to hospital, because me at the back of my mind, I knew it was milk.
And it was still hard?
Yes, it was hard. It was there.
And painful,
No,
painless?
it was never painful from the start. So around 2021, I think it was around March or May, I started feeling pain, and I went to Zambia hospital, and I'm like feeling this pain every time I take off my brother. Is that sharp pain that comes? And the moment the doctor touched it, like, "Fazi, how long have you been having this?" I'm like, "I think 2-3 years." I couldn't keep the count of time. She's like, "But this isn't good news, but I think it may be cancerous." I'm like, "Come on, where can I get cancer? I live a healthy lifestyle. I go to gym.
You don't have genes.
I'm doing green things. I was dieting, basically." Then I'm like, "Look at me, where can cancer come from?" The doctor laughs, and I'm like, "That's the problem with educated people. You think you know it all." And like, I don't want to really judge, but I want us to do a biopsy. And so when I came, I went back to work and I told my boss, "This person, I have cancer." "Oh, you know the propaganda that comes with people. When they cut you, it's going to spread, it's going to do this." So I lived in denial for another 2 months, refusing to do the biopsy and everything. I lived in denial until the pain became a lot.
Unbearable.
And they sent through some survivors to talk to me. By that time, I talked to a number of friends, and they sent through some survivors to talk to me. And they were like, "Fazi, I think you should go and do a biopsy. It's what we'll tell you." I went ahead and did a biopsy. The results came back. And
they were positive.
They were positive. I had cancer. And I took another 2 months trying to now digest, like, okay, they're going to give me chemo, my hair will go off. Like, I started thinking of those side effects. And I lived in another 2 months of denial. By the time I went back, my cancer had advanced from stage 2 to stage 3B because of living in denial. Yes. And so I lost a whole 2 years of that process, of the treatment, of whatever people go through that is really so painful. And that's when I got better. I never gave up on myself. Even the doctors would tell you I would go for my treatment doing jeans, sneakers.
Where were you doing treatment from?
Uganda Cancer Institute.
Mulago.
Mulago. That's where I did it from. And the doctors would be like, "Where's the patient?" I'm like, "I'm the patient." They're like, you don't look. Because the first person that talked to me told me, "Fazi, cancer kills you the moment you accept it in your brain. You have to remain positive for you to survive this. Find something that gives you reason to fight on." And actually, that's one of the things that really pushed me so hard to go through and fight that battle.
I just want to know, like, you know, we've had all people who have cancer. I have family relatives, like, who have had cancer. And you can never really get to know. We can only hear, you can only share, but we cannot know
the
exact feeling of how it is. Now, from the time, like, you can tell us now from your story, how was it like? Explain to me, like, apart from you feeling the pain and what did you go through in terms of family, friends? Because now you were mommy's girl, mommy must have been devastated, all this.
Yeah, it was a tough one. It was really tough, and it was a big blow to my mom. And I remember the first 1 week. It's so funny, but we all sat home and were crying. Like we kept crying, and my mom just kept saying, God, why wouldn't you do this to me? My daughter has been doing so well, and she's taking care of me, and now you're bringing. We complained a lot to God. I wouldn't lie to you, and people got scared. Everyone like in Luganda ngabagamba omwana w'omukazi agenda kufa, because my mom is that proud mom that will tell everyone about their daughter. So everyone is like, if Fazi passed away, I don't think her mom can go for another mom. That was the talk. But during the initial stages, even by the time I had surgery, friends were there. I had made very good friends. Me, actually, I'll tell you, people do flyers of, let us fundraise for this person, but my friends were there. I had made very many corporate friends, very many corporate friends, and these people stood by my side. But just like, cancer isn't malaria that today you're sick and in a week you're going to be okay. It gets devastating. Like, people start walking away. And the beauty about it is, by the time all this happened, I was a very focused girl. By the time I had my firstborn, I already had a home. By the time I had my secondborn, I had built my mansion, my dream mansion as a girl. So by the time all these things happened, at least I was not doing so badly off. And the fact that my bosses accepted that I stay working, it also helped me a lot. One, mentally, that my brain was never down. I was always on phone working. Even when I used to go for chemo, I would stay on phone working. That's how positive I was. Chemo was so harsh. And every time someone talks about a real currency, I feel like, God, let it not come back to me. Every time I get a bit sick again, I'm like, I hope it's not a real currency. I think that was the most harsh one. But in all this, at least one thing I remember, my mom was there, like on a daily
basis.
Yeah, those days you would leave hospital and Cecily, you can't even bathe yourself. My mom was there throughout that whole period. I think she was one person that gave me a lot of courage to push on. And then my babies as well. I used to look at them
And
and
your
I'm
husband?
like, oh, now that's a long story. I'm a single mother. Yes, things didn't work out so well with my baby daddy, and we mutually accepted to let it go.
And your sisters?
Yeah, my sisters were there. But like I've told you, a disease that doesn't go away in one day, people get tired. You start to feel like people are getting tired. So that's why I kept pushing on my own. At least I used to let out all the pain to my mom, but not to any other person. I didn't want my sisters to feel like their life is tied down because of
you.
me. Yes. I told them, go on with your lives. I'll go through this. So yes, my friends, my mom, I had a number of people that were there for me. I had a group of ladies they called bonus moms. Those ones had to make sure every other weekend they would send through WhatsApp for my kids. They would they would send money to take them out because they didn't want my kids to go through that torture and trauma.
Yeah, and trauma.
Yes,
Yeah.
so they used to make sure my babies. That's the bond we have with them. We're like a group of sisters. So they when anything happens to any of us, they're there for the others. So basically, one thing I can tell you about cancer is
It's scary.
I cried.
Anyway, we are going to come back to that.
Yes, I cried a number of
It's very
times.
scary. I know, because several times when people hear about cancer, they all go like bananas.
Yes.
People are like, oh my God, I'm going to die, I'm going to do this and stuff like that. It's quite challenging, but we'll get back right there.
Yeah.
For now, you're still watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. We are going for a short break, but before we go for a break, don't forget to bring your children for the Super Soul Beauty Pageant, which is going to happen on 26th and to 28th of August around at the National Theatre. Make sure that children come for audition so that we get to pick the best story and we support them. This function is meant for Super Soul Sisters, all the girls, secondary, primary, university. Come, if you know you have a beautiful story, just come and audition and Super Soul Sisters will support you. Also, don't forget to always watch UBC at around 9 p.m. for Super Soul Sisters, 11 a.m. Friday, I repeat. And then for any other show that you're interested in, just pop up on our YouTube channel and you'll get to see all the episodes that you missed. There are quite so many, so you can watch and get entertained and learn from it and learn from people's stories so that you do things better. For now, let us go for a short break. We shall be right back. Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. You've been following us here with Fazirah. She's been sharing with us her story, and before we went for a break, she was telling us what it means going through cancer treatment, coming out and triumphing and being a winner, and also what it really takes for you who has been going through such a long sickness, which does not go within 1 or 2 months, but goes on for a year and many, many months. So she's going to be sharing with us her experience, and then later on, tell us as a Super Soul Sisters where she is right now, what she's doing, and then also leave us with a quote that we should go home with. But before we delve into her, don't forget that we have a pageant which is going to be running on 26th to 28th at the National Theatre. The auditions are meant for all girls, Super Soul Sisters. Please come and win yourself a bursary. Come with a very inspiring story so that we get to tag you along with our Super Soul Sisters team. But also remember to come to Footsteps Furniture to purchase such beautiful furniture that you can get here. Fazirah, you have a very amazing story. You know, when someone goes through tough times and then comes out tougher, they're at a position of telling anyone that there's no permanent situation.
Exactly.
Seasons come and go, situations come and go. There's that book that tough times don't last, but tough people do last. I read that book and I was so inspired for that pastor, the way he mentioned. And now when you're talking about your story, I can relate that. Who knew that you'd be here today?
Actually, that is one thing. And for people who saw me when I was still sick, all your hair disappeared. And when people find me right now with hair, they're always surprised. They're like, Fuzzy, the hair came back. Because that was one of my biggest blows. I had very long natural hair back then. And I lost it. When you touch your hair and the hair is coming
at
out.
what stage does the hair keep coming out?
I had my first cycle of chemo, didn't come out. Then I was like, maybe I'm one of the lucky people that the hair won't go out.
But so are there some people who are lucky that do not lose hair?
That is like 1 in 1,000. That is why. But you always pray that you're one of those. So I got so dark. Wow. I really got dark. My hands, you know how people who take cigarettes be? My hands became that dark with those spots. The nails became black, my feet, and literally you would look at me and you'd feel like there is no life in her anymore. But there was a book I was reading at the time. It's called Power of Positive Thinking, and it helped me a lot. I tried as much as possible not to put it in my mind that I was going to die, because I kept telling myself I have so much to do. I still have a lot. My babies are still young. My mother still needs me, and I'm still young. So I kept pushing. It was hard. There were those tough, like the first 1 week when you've been given chemo, that was the worst. I had sleepless nights. I couldn't sleep. I was in pain. Everything became
before you get
down.
Chemo, before they do the surgery?
What happens? You first get the chemotherapy. I had 6 cycles of chemotherapy. Later on, I had my surgery, and after surgery, I went for radiotherapy, and I'm now on oral chemo. That is, I'm doing tamoxifen for now for the next 5 years, and if all goes well after those 5 years and it is well, that's when they can declare me cancer-free. But if it is not, then I'll have to take another 5 years of being on treatment. So this is not something that is about to go, but that doesn't stop me from living my life.
From doing other things, yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't stop me from doing living my life. So when I finished my treatment, I went back to work, and truth is I was less productive. I used to be a team leader that used to hit targets. when I came back, I could no longer make it to the field the way I used to be, moving up and down,
Because
standing.
you'd get exhausted.
Yes, my body was literally very, very weak. Like your body becomes
So how
weak.
long did you take to go back to work?
And now that is the biggest surprise. Even up to now, my boss still tells me, Faz, you were something else. I had my surgery, and 4 months later, I was back to work. I had my radiotherapy when I was working.
And you'd go to office?
Yes, I would go to office. I would go to the field. I was weak. I was not as active
And
as I
had
used
the hair
to do.
come back then?
No, it hadn't. I was putting on pieces. It hadn't come back. Yes, hair took around 1 year to come back. So I would go to work because as a single mother, I used to think of my babies. I have to feed my mom. I have to do school fees for my babies. So you don't get the time to really feel sick and get empathy for yourself. I'm one person who doesn't want empathy, no. So I was like, I have to get back on my feet and do something. Otherwise, by the time I come out of this sickness, my babies may not be in school anymore. Yeah. So I came back to work 4 months after surgery. Yet my doctors were telling me, take a year to heal. That wound this is a major surgery. But I used to tell my doctor, you don't know what you're talking about because bills are never going to stop coming my way. So I have to do this. So I went back to work, but I was never very active like from before. And there came a time and my bosses were like, Fuzzy, we have to let you go. Actually, the thing is, they were scared. Like, in the condition I was working, they're like, now what if she passes away, really? What happens? They'd been with me for quite some time and they didn't want to let me go, but they also had their fears. Like, what if she's walking down the stairs and she just faints and passes away?
Had you lost, by then, had you got back your weight or you were still very small?
I was never small. During that time I was on treatment, the chemotherapy had steroids. I grew fat. I put on weight. Like, I became huge. Actually, I'm just shaping up now.
Wow.
I really became huge, but my doctors told me you have to keep exercising because also excess weight won't be good for you. Exactly. Yes, so I just gotten back to shape into the person you're seeing now. Slowly but slowly, yes.
Like, when did you do your marketing course now after all that?
Okay, when I came back and I saw how weak I had gotten, I told myself, Fati, you can no longer be a salesperson. Sales need a lot of movement. Sales need a lot of energy. And you're not going to remain training, because by that time I was also training salespeople, becoming good salespeople. But I was like, no, it's time to change venture. There is something you always wanted, but you never did. So I went to UMI and enrolled for CIM, that is Chartered Institute of Marketing. Everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, Fuzzy, you're sick, you have bills, and now you're going for a course. I'm like, yes, this will keep me moving.
And actually, it keeps you
and that's why I started
busy.
that. And the beauty about CIM is that the moment you enroll, this is more of a practical course. Whatever you're studying, you're implementing. So when I left Jude, that was my most painful transition in life, because I was leaving the people that knew me, that understood
Which organization was that?
Jude Color Solutions.
Yes.
Yes. So it was really painful, but I had to let go. You know, there are times my mom always told me, you should leave a place when people still love you than when you leave when people no longer love you.
Yes.
So that was my tough decision. But I think, you know, God's timing is really his own timing. I sat home for 2 weeks to think through, because by the time I had just returned from Nairobi, around last year in July, I had a reoccurrence, a bad one, and I had to go to Nairobi for a second opinion and treatment. And
did it come out well?
Yeah, I got the treatment. One thing we have to know, as a cancer patient, your body communicates every time something isn't right within your system. But just because we as Ugandans, we never take like really what is happening to my body, but it communicated. I was breaking down. I was working Monday to to almost Saturday, and my body was really tired.
With St. Jude.
Yes, with Jude.
Jude, yeah.
Yeah, and the body was breaking down, but you know, when you work with targets, you will really feel you want to hit your target. I ended up getting sick again without knowing. And by the time I went to Nairobi, I was not okay. I spent there almost a month.
Wow,
treatment.
that was not easy.
Yes, and then I had to come back.
You went there with mom?
No, I had a cousin in Nairobi that took good care of me because my mom had to remain with my kids. She's always with my babies. So Bazukuru, yeah, she had to remain with them, and I had to travel alone. My cousin was there for me, and I had to go through. I've always been by the way, when I was doing my chemotherapy, I used to go to hospital alone. I get into an Uber, they take me to hospital, get my treatment, come back. Because I never want people to get tired of me. That's how strong I've been throughout my journey. I think my treatment, I only went with my mom when it was time for surgery.
Because there you needed support.
I needed support, exactly. Yeah. But I never want people around me. Like I've told you, I'm alone. It is so surprising that even after my treatment, mentally I was broken and down. I talked to my doctor, and my doctor was like, it's okay if you feel you want to be alone for some time. I had to leave my home, my beautiful home, go get a rental somewhere, and it gives me peace to be alone. Wow. Something very, but it is all about emotions. Emotions are triggered during this treatment. Very many things change as a person. Your self-esteem goes down. There are very many things that change, like life goes from here to a different, total different. Exactly. So I found myself now, a number of my friends complain about it, like, first you need someone at least to stay with. You need someone in your life, but I find it more peaceful when I leave work and go home, shower, and
just relax.
Minus the noise, minus this, just be myself.
Without the kids disturbing you as well.
Exactly. It has helped me a lot on my recovery journey. I needed time alone to rediscover myself.
And now when you were at school, how was it like? Because I know going back to, at our level of maturity education, you have so many people who want to talk to you. And how were you managing that with all this group work? And
it's surprising. My classes used to happen on a Saturday, and then Friday evening after work. I was doing after work. So on Saturdays, I had officially communicated to my bosses not to be coming to work. And my tutors again told me, Fazzy, don't put a lot of pressure on your brain. Take it slow. With professional courses, you can even do one paper every sitting. You don't need to be pushed. But I just needed something else to venture into something else. Like I was telling you, God's timing is really his own timing. When I left Jude, I sat home for 2 weeks trying to rethink what next now. And by that time, I had already started my CIM by the time I left the job. And I was sitting at home and someone calls me, hi, Fuzzy, from the very many people. Are you still with Jude? I'm like, no, I've taken it down. And like, there is a job offer. There is a company called Lito. It's from Kenya. They gave me a job offer, but also then they needed me to be in the field a lot.
I know Lito.
And I told my bosses, like, I can't do field work anymore. I'm no longer that energetic.
And healthy also,
Exactly. So I worked with them for around 6 months, and it's different, like bosses because our bosses are in Kenya, and for me, I sit this side, they really never got to understand what I was explaining to. And for me, my health comes first.
Exactly.
These days, I'm that selfish that I'm top
because priority. You do not have a spare part.
Exactly, I'm top priority. So I had to tell them, guys, I'm letting it go. Thank you, but I'm letting it go. And as I was there, Uganda Boxing Federation called me. For the people that used to see my status, they're like, okay, first, what exactly are you doing? I'm like, as long as someone is interested in my way of doing things and my marketing, I'll do. I worked with the Uganda Boxing Federation for quite some time. Up to now, I'm still with them. Though, along the way when I was working with them at the beginning of this year, in February, I got an opportunity from Buganda Heritage and Tourism Board, and I had to cross over there. It was more relaxing, I should say. I wouldn't say there is a job that doesn't have pressure, but I thank God that my boss understood me.
The Buganda tourism.
Yes, Buganda tourism. When I come into your office, I don't want, when people see me, they feel like she's the perfect person. She's healthy and everything. But I sat my boss down and I told him, this is me. This is the profession of me. But there is this other side of me. I'm not okay. I have good days. Where you find me running around, like the way you saw me with Miss Tourism.
Yes, I saw you.
I was up and down and everyone was like, wow. But you cannot imagine that happened on 31st of May, and on the 2nd of June I was in hospital sick for a week.
You told me like you had to hibernate for like a whole week.
When I'm passionate about something, you'll find me working so hard to make sure I deliver. But every time I put that on myself, I know
you're going to get back again.
So at least my boss has been understanding. That's what I thank God for. So
and how were you able to deal with the stigma? We didn't talk about that because I have had patients. I've taken care of patients who have had cancer. My grandmother had cancer. I have a relative who has cancer.
Okay, now that was a tough one. I won't lie to you. Like I've told you, I cried. I had nights where I just cried. Even up to now, I can be in my bed and I just break down and cry because you feel like your life is not the same. It's not normal. But I don't know. It's been a tough one. Up to now, like there are people who still feel like someone addresses you by what you're going through.
They do not take you as Fazirah.
There was a statement someone made once before I left Jude. And this was someone close to me and someone next to me. They're like, "Anirira nnyo tasobola kubanga ina cancer alabika yeekoza."
Those statements are always common, by the way.
So that really hit me hard. And I told her, "Do you think I would have gone for surgery?" Because I used to be this kind of girl that could dress. And I'm like,
you still dress nice.
You think like I would go for surgery and give up my breasts if I was pretending? Why would I reach that extent? So the world speaks a lot. And there actually, I wish people knew that hinders the recovery of people a lot. Like you always need people to be supportive. You always need people to be understanding. The days when you find me down and I'm just broken and I'm crying, don't judge.
Because you found someone in such a situation. And the way you've said when we began the show that there are no permanent situations.
Exactly. It's a storm.
It's a storm. That's why there are seasons. Like today is a stormy season, tomorrow is a rainy season.
Today might be having cancer and you're going to get something else.
Exactly.
We have seen people who are like judging, like, oh, again, for me, they told my mom, yes. But then I had a cousin that just passed on a border accident while I was sick.
When you are still sick. And then there are also people who have healed and, like the cancer survivors talk to you and then you see people show you pictures and they're like,
I have people who have even given birth again.
Wow.
Because they're like, no, first, it's not the end of the world. You can even get married. You can have kids again. Like, I had people who had gone through this very thing talk to me. I think it also helped me a lot.
It does
but
help.
The only problem is that people are going to come out publicly and they're like, I have cancer and this is what I've gone through. Because people are judging them.
That's why we are glad. You see, I insisted that you should come for the show. Because you see what you've shared here. There are people who are out there who are just waiting for this information.
And people have been dismissed from work. That is also a big thing that is affecting people. But may I believe a cancer patient can still work? Because even when I'm still, I know,
because
deliver.
First of all, congratulations for pulling out the Buganda Kingdom beauty pageant. My God, it was so nice.
Thank you for
it was so nice. I was happy that you
because
invited
I had
us.
A supportive team. I think if I'd done it alone, I would have broken down. I might even have died. I might even have fainted at Africana. But I had a supportive team that understood me. These were people, as I was moving, that night I didn't have food, by the way. But I had a team that was beside me, like, first, take some water. I have a very supportive team at work that have become,
saw you looking flamboyant, and I'm like, wow.
Darlings, like the kind of people like, first, you've not eaten lunch. First, you're supposed to have, you're having a doctor's appointment. Like, you need such people around you if you're going to fight this battle.
Yeah.
Because one of the side effects I realized along this way that this medicine caused to me is forgetting.
Like it messes up with your memory.
With your memory.
But it will come back.
There are days I forget things.
Then you should be noting
There are
them.
days I forget my daughter's birthdays.
Wow.
There are many things you forget. Yes, you do the noting, but I can even note and forget where
And
I
forget to see where you're. But it's good to have supportive people.
But
It's so nice to have you,
that
Fazirah.
support is what is keeping me going.
So what is this message that you'd like to tell people out there?
Oh, okay. When it comes to the bosses, I may not be 100% effective as I was before, but I cannot go below 60%. So I would think these people be given a chance to still work. Like let them come to work and do their best. Right now I'm back to school and I've not told you I've taken in a second course, project management, because I feel I still have so much to give. I'm still at that young age that I'm not even ready to give up on myself or not even do things. So I'm doing all this to give my other cancer patients hope of like we can still go back to work. I have other friends that are working in big organizations and they're cancer survivors, but their bosses have come to understand them. At least in a month, you will only find like 5 bad days, but all other days I'll try to be okay because I'm an adult and I know that I'm supposed to deliver, have a deliverable. Then to
The relatives and family?
family, actually family are very heartbreaking. I remember when I had just gotten sick, one of my uncles came to me and is like, is this property in your name? I think you should transfer it to the kid's name because very soon things may not be okay. So family, stop demoralizing people. Like you're the people we are supposed to depend on and be strong, but it's unfortunate that family, by the way, is more toxic than you can ever know. Me, I've seen my family members walk away and let my mom be. You get it? So family has been, yes, those that have been there, but family is really toxic. And the words they put inside you are very bad that you feel like you're about to give up. Then to friends, I've had amazing friends, I would say. I have friends, when I was still doing my chemo, they came and picked me up and took me out. That is how crazy it was. Friends are good people, but then there are also those friends who are like, cancer is expensive. Now Fazirah is going to start asking for money. But I had a whole string of friends that were very supportive. There isn't a day I looked for my medication money and I failed. Cancer is very expensive. It is very devastating. It needs emotional support more than financial support. It's the best I can tell you. But there are those friends that came through all the time. It's just a call away to just check on someone. It's just that bit of like, actually I used not to celebrate my birthday.
But now you do.
Something funny. For the past 2 years, my friends get to celebrate me. They're like, Fuzzy, every single day counts. Every year counts. And you just don't know. I always get picked up from wherever I am and like, we have a surprise for you. Just don't ask. It's because we don't know what will happen. Cancer is very funny. It is triggered in many ways. Today you'll be okay and tomorrow
You'll be having it.
Yes, everyone has cancerous cells, but they've just not yet been triggered. Everyone has a different trigger, but we can make a difference by being there for these people. And to all the cancer patients, don't go home and cry yourself. Yes, it's okay to cry, but get up and look for something you're passionate about and do it. Me, my career has always been my one thing I love, and that's why I've decided to go back to school. And I always tell people I'm going to be one of the biggest CEOs in Uganda very soon. Very soon. Because that's a positivity we need to live with and not live in the fear of, I won't do this because I'm going to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Interesting. And happy birthday once again.
Thank you.
I hope they are not out there waiting to pick you.
No, I have to go back to work. I have a job to first attend to.
Okay.
And then in the evening, that's
But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fazirah. So one quote that we should leave here with, one quote for all the Super Soul Sisters and everybody out there.
Okay, for the Super Soul Sisters, one thing, it won't be a quote of sorts, but it is the power of positive thinking. Be positive. Even when you really feel like you're breathing your last, tell God, it is not my last. That's what I used to tell God, it is not my last. And not being my last, up to now, I'm still here. I'm good looking. I'm very ambitious. When you find me at work, you will see this serious marketing manager. But my dear, I have bad days. So let your bad days not be the worst days that determine your future.
Wow. Yeah. So powerful. Thank you so much, Fazirah.
Thank you, Jamila.
It's been lovely having you.
And it's a
really, really lovely. And thank you for sharing your story. We really take it as a privilege for you to come here to share your story, because we've been trying to get you for like a month. Like a month or so. Yeah, so it's really been nice to have you here. For the viewers who are out there, we do such stories here, and I would encourage all people who have cancer out there that it's not your last. Keep positive. You heard from a cancer survivor, I would say that, because she is in the process of being the survivor. And for me, I'm always positive that she will triumph over this. And also to what she has said, let us be positive, let us support our own emotionally. Don't leave out your friend because they are fallen into a serious illness. Don't forget the family because they are going through hard times, because they do not last. Hard times come and go. It's like seasons. So today you'll see someone like this, tomorrow you'll see someone totally different and changed and looking flamboyant. I would also like to remind you that our pageant runs on 26th to 28th. We'll be selecting one of the best inspiring story from the students. Super Soul Sisters, the young ones, we are waiting for you. Parents, please bring your children, bring the girls, bring the Super Soul Sisters for the pageant on 26th, 27th, and 28th at the National Theatre for the auditions. Please don't miss out. And also for those who, if you happen to miss our show here on UBC, catch us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters, and don't forget to subscribe and follow us. And also you can get to see other shows that we've had here for over 2 years. You'll get to see whom you want. Actually, you can pick whichever show you want to watch because there are quite so many. Also want to give credit to Footsteps for giving us such a beautiful place. We don't take it for granted. This is a beautiful place, and I would encourage you viewers, please don't go looking for furniture anywhere. Don't go looking anywhere to beautify your home. Make your home a place that is worthy, a place that you dream of. This place has all that you need to put in your home. You can see how this set is looking beautiful. All these things, you can have them in your home and even much more better. So just make sure that you come here. It is opposite Bank of Africa along Ginger Road. With that information, I would like to thank you once again for watching UBC TV and for following us on Super Soul Sisters. Thank you so much. My name is Jamila Oluka. Have a lovely evening.